kernel mode. Likewise, there are user threads and kernel threads. And generally, kernel threads are all multi-threaded, where there are multi-threaded processes. So user threads are generally like this. The thread is, the thread has its stack, and it has got access to the common files, the common data, the common code, and so on. It has its own registers. This is global. The code, data, and files are global. The registers and stack are local. But in a multi-threaded environment, slightly, even though the code and data and files are all global, the thread has its own registers and stack. Here, when it's a single thread, even this is common. The registers and stack are common. Multi-threaded means each thread has its own local variables and registers, and they have access to the local global variables. And generally speaking, whenever in a multi-threaded server architecture, multiple requests are coming into the server, and the server can consider each request in the form of a thread. Some threads can be addressed immediately. Some threads can be addressed even at a later stage. These kind of advantages are possible in multi-threading. So as I mentioned, threading is very advantageous. It is scalable. You have multiple threads. You can make use of multi-processor machines. You can give one thread to another, a separate processor. That advantage is there. It is lightweight. It is cheaper than a process. A process needs to communicate through message passing or shared memory, which we have seen in the later classes. Here it is very easy. It's a cheaper process, simpler process. Sharing of resources is possible because the thread has some local variable and has got access to the global variable. A thread is easy, cheap, lightweight, responsive, and so on. And it simply splits. It is ideally used for a multi-core or a multi-processor system. It promotes parallelism and concurrency, which also result in high performance computing. So you have many processors or many cores. Core means it's in one processor. Two cores means it is two processors are there within one processor. Multi-processor means more than one processor. So these multi-processor, when you have threaded programs, one thread can go to one processor, another thread can go to another processor. It increases parallelism, speed, efficiency, throughput, concurrency, and you are resulting in supercomputing or high performance computing. So threading is very, very advantageous. And see how the thread can go. Threads, suppose you have a program, the program is divided into a process P1 has got 4 threads, T1, T2, T3 and T4. T1 and T3 can go into one processor. T2 and T4 can always go into another processor. So the divide, there is a concurrency in terms of data. The data is going separately to two different processors. Obviously, the output, the throughput will increase. There are many different types of multi-threading models. There is a many-to-one threading. These are all user threads. I am giving a cut-paste program. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm giving a cut-paste here. I'm deleting a file. I'm writing a program. I am printing a document. All these are 4 different user threads. All of them can combine into can be multiplexed into a kernel thread. And this logic is used by Solaris and GNU. GNU is nothing but the precursor of Linux. Then there is a one-to-one. Every user will map to a user kernel thread. So I am deleting a file. My user thread is mapping to a kernel file, single kernel thread. I am cut pasting, that is going to a separate user thread to kernel thread. I am deleting a file, that is separate. I am doing some other operation, it is separate. And this one-to-one mapping of user to kernel thread is used by Windows, Linux and Solaris 9 and later. Now there is a multiplexing, many to many. Many user threads are multiplexed to several kernel threads. This is more of a multiplexing and a demultiplexing. So you can prioritize here. You have multiple user threads. You can prioritize and give it to many kernel threads. Suppose this is a high priority kernel thread. You can take 1 and 3 and give it here. You can give 2 and 4 are not so priority. So this is another option, and this is used by Solaris versions before 9. Another this is a hybrid. You can have a hybrid this thing. There is a multiplexing going on, but at the end of the day, one user thread is only mapped to a single kernel thread. Here there is multiplexing. 2 or 3 can be mapped to 1, but in the many to many one model, 2-level model means there are many user threads coming and there are many kernel threads, but there is only a 1-to-1 mapping, and that is a multiplexing. So this thread can be mapped to this 1-to-1, and this is used by Solaris 8 and earlier, and some other operating system. None of them are so popular, like IRIX is not popular. Unix True 64 is one flavor of Unix, and so on. And for threads, we have different types of commands. We have different types of primitives which we are using to create. We have already seen this fork and execute. Fork is in the process, we have learned that it is used to create a child process. Execute is used to swap the memory in a process. So these kind of primitives are available. I'll probably take this in the next class, but I want to show you something. Where is this thing gone? You give me a minute. Oh no. Why is this not coming? I don't know why I'm not getting that screen. There is a screen that is supposed to come here. Oh, gosh, this is not coming. I got it here. Oh, it's not coming. Maybe this will work. Yeah. Are you able to see something now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see process thread view?
Yes, sir. We are able to see your file explorer.
Yeah. So see, this is a application called process thread view. Now in this computer, it is now looking at the different threads and processes that are happening. So if you see this screen, see so many threads are there. You will see so many teams.exe. Can you see this? Yes or no?
Sir, we are not able to see
No,
that, sir.
sir.
Not able to see, huh? Oh,
No,
shit.
sir.
You
Okay,
have
you do one
shared
thing.
only your file
You do one thing.
explorer.
I don't know
Web
why
and
it's not
minus
coming.
buttons,
It's
sir.
not coming at all. It's not sharing in. Yeah. Now I got it. Can you able to see this now? Some screen are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So just 1 minute. Huh? I'm trying. I think I got it now. Oh gosh, I don't know why this is not coming. Shit. Okay, can you see a screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so this software, it's a very simple software. Please download this software. It is called Process Thread View, right? It's a very simple 100 KB application. It is freely downloadable. So what you are seeing here is there are different processes that are happening now, and I have chosen an exe process of Teams, and you will see that this is the stack data at the computer or the stack level or the processor level. These are the things that are happening. So if you see this, you can actually see the kind of processes that are happening. Yeah. Now can you see a small table?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see a small box called choose process?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes,
now
sir.
if you see this, no, this is what I was not coming. If you see, these are the various processes that are happening, and in each, which are the threads that are going. So if I take, you'll see multiple processes, teams.exe, firefox.exe. So if I take Firefox, I select this Firefox, I can see the stack variables and the details of the threads that are happening here. Now, maybe it doesn't make sense for me because I do not know the internal architecture of the computer. But what I'm trying to say is that see how the process is broken down to different type of threads. If I choose process, I'll see so many processes are happening in this thing. You will see many instances of Firefox, many instances of Teams. Now I selected Teams, it gives me some other value. It is probably something at the what should I say, at the computer level or the architecture level. I do not understand what it means, but you are able to see the threads, the kernel, the processes, and all those things. So I thought to give you a visual appeal on how this process actually happens, I thought I wanted to share with you. So that is all from today from my side. So I have a couple of announcements before I take the attendance. Please process thread view. That is the name of the software. Please download it and see. The chat is not coming. I don't know why chat is not coming. Yeah. I have given the name of the software. It's called Process Thread View. So using Process Thread View, you can actually find out which are the processes running in your computer, and what are the processes that are breaking down to threads. What is the stack data at in an architecture level? Inside the computer, it is some sort of registers and stuff like that. I don't want to get into that much of detail, but just understand from that point of view as follows. Okay. And couple of announcements. So next Wednesday, we will be having a quiz on chapter 3, that is